Hello, I'm Sam Stovall, U.S. Equity Strategist for S&P Capital IQ. In this week's Sector Watch, I discussed whether an overly accommodative Federal Reserve was actually masking an inverted yield curve. The Federal Reserve cut the Fed funds rate from 5.25% in September of 2007 to essentially 0% in December of 2008, where it remains to this day. During the same time, the yield on the 10-year note sank from about 4.5% to below 1.5% and now hovers near 2.2%. Since 1948, the yield on the Fed funds rate averaged 1.4 percentage points above the year-over-year percent change in the Consumer Price Index. Today, core CPI stands at 1.8%. Therefore, under normal circumstances, this would imply an effective Fed funds rate of around 3.2%. Compare this with the abnormally low 10-year yield, and one can't help but come to the conclusion that the Fed is masking an inverted yield curve, which is the difference between the market-driven 10-year yield and the Fed-influenced 3-month yield. Yet today's low inflation rate, combined with the yield curve, tell a different story. One reason is that whenever inflation was below 2%, the yield curve never inverted. What's more, the yield curve is actually steeper today than its average since 1948. Thus, we believe that today's low 10-year yield relative to inflation is not assisting the Fed in masking an invisible inversion, but is a reflection of a half-speed economy that we think is more likely to accelerate than stall out. I'm Sam Stovall, and I'll talk with you again next week.